What's up, folks? Aslan alongside Corey Clark. We're out front the practice fields. Day 2 of spring ball is now in the books for Florida State the final time. The fans and the media can watch it for the entire duration, which is a really cool thing. You know, we get to see a lot of stuff, Corey. What jumped off the page day 2 for you?
I think it was the same.
I'll hold it.
I think it was the same as what stood out in day 1. I think the DBs are ahead of the wide receivers. I think the defense is well ahead of the offense, but I also think that's to be expected, as we talked about watching the practice. That's not exactly a surprise. I will also say this, again, take it with the caveat of it's 2 spring practices. There's still worlds of work to go. James Blackman is clearly the best quarterback on the roster. And we don't know who the second string quarterback is going to be, but it is a discernible difference between the people that are backing James Blackman up and James Blackman.
Right. Let's talk about environment. Music returned. Sure. You folks won that battle. Congratulations. I'm sorry.
A little softer than it had been. So there you go.
It was. But I just think the amount of enthusiasm, and I'm not too big on it. I think practice needs to be a bit of a grind. I don't think it should be all that fun, but just the chirping that continues to go on between the secondary, it's kind of humorous. A lot of fans, you saw them chuckling, smiling, and they're enjoying it.
They are, and it goes back and forth. I mean, the wide receivers yell at them too, and really it happens with every segment group when they're going up against each other, which, again, you think about a 5-7 team coming off the first losing season in 4 decades, to have this much energy. I think that's a good thing. I mean, to be this passionate. They are passionate. I don't think you can tell when it's fake and when it's not, and it's not fake. These guys are really involved. They're really engaged. I think that's a really good sign. That's 3 reallys in a row.
Yeah. Frankly, that's a very...
Sure. But I just think that's definitely a positive that they are really engaged with each other and yelling back and forth. Now, they're not saying nice things to each other. Maybe you'd want your teammates to be a little nicer to you, pick you up a little bit, but they ain't about that out there, man. They're about being real, keeping it real, and they talk a lot of trash. And I think that competition, iron sharpens iron, as I coined. Well, that phrase that I coined. I think that's really important when you're trying to rebuild a program.
Anybody jump out to you? Akeem Dent recorded 2 back-to-back picks in 7-on-7 against a non-scholarship quarterback, so let's not anoint him anything special yet, but it's encouraging. True freshman, 5-star on campus, already making an impact to some degree.
Yeah, I think it wasn't even one of the good non-scholarship quarterbacks. You take it with a grain of salt. It was 2 in a row. They were ducks. They were not pretty passes, but hey, it was there. He did the right thing. I thought the best play of the day in the 11-on-11 and the 7-on-7 was Asante Samuel made a great interception on a James Blackman throw, dove in front of the receiver. Just an incredible play. Overall, again, the defense dominated in every facet. I thought, Marvin Wilson's Marvin Wilson. That guy, we don't even talk about him enough because it's just assumed he's awesome. He's really good. He moves people everywhere. Dante Lucas, I thought, showed some signs of being physical. There was a play in an 11-on-11. They actually ran the ball well, even though they can't tackle and there's no pads. They ran the ball well on 11-on-11, much more than they threw it, much better than they threw it. And there was a play where Dante Lucas pushed a guy out of the way, like really nice block, and then just stood on the sideline and did this. Like Dion before he returned a punt. So he's got something to him. I think he's going to play this year. Other than that, those 2 guys, the defense obviously stood out. I thought,
but nobody's moving up or down any sort of depth chart after 2 days.
No, I wouldn't think so. It's still the same O-line, still the same secondary. But there's guys that make plays. I thought Jordan Young made some really nice plays and made a couple just ridiculous moves. He's got something to him too. It's a talented receiving core. Right now it's kind of hard to judge what they're doing against the DBs because, quite frankly, there you go, who's throwing the ball to them?
Yeah,
it's tough.
Just 2 things I'll say before we go. I did notice Randy Clements coaching the guys up, obviously, on the offensive line. Mike Arnold got 2 attaboys out of him.
There you go.
Which that's got to be an encouraging thing. You literally there was one drill where he left a cleat mark in the ground. I think I actually have clip footage of that, which will be running over this right now. But there's like a streak through the turf, and Randy Clements is like, that's the way it should be. It should be your cleat digging in there. Attaboy, Mike. So Mike Arnold got 2 of those. And then during one of the passing drills, I did see Kendall Browse really take a liking to what James Blackman did. Was clapping it up with him, like tapping him on the helmet. That might just be by necessity because he knows that there's not a lot backing him up at the current point. But 2 things I noticed that were encouraging, man.
Well, and I also wanted to say Robert Cooper stood out to me on the defense again. That guy, he's lost apparently 25 pounds, but he's a immovable object. He was a really good player today. And Anthony Grant continues to make kind of splash-looking runs. He's got a little wiggle. He's got a little something to him. So that guy has a chance to be a player as well.
Off camera, Ira, you going to have observations for the people?
Yeah, well, Corey and I and you.
Ira's going to have observations.
You're
That's all you need to know. Check out warchant.com for more. Thanks for watching.